I'm going to call to order this Lacey City Council meeting. It's Tuesday, January 2nd at 6 p.m. We have Councilmember Stedman is not with us, and we'll get into our first agenda item, which is our oath of office for Malcolm Miller, Lenny Greenstein, and Nicholas Dunning. First up, we'll administer the oath of office for Malcolm Miller. Nope, not yet.
Raise your hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Malcolm Miller,
Do solemnly swear
swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties of the office of City of Lacey City Council, position number 1,
the duties of the office of City of Lacey City Council, position number 1,
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
There you go. Congratulations. You need to sign right here. Now then. For me.
Good.
Done this before?
Couple of times.
I state your name.
I, Lenny Greenstein,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties of the office of City of Lacey City Council, position number 2,
of City of Lacey City Council, position number 2,
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I state your name.
I, Nicholas Dunning,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties of the office
of
City of Lacey City Council, position number 3. Of City of Lacey
City Council,
position number 3.
number 3,
According to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
There you go.
Nick, if you want to take some time to get some pictures with your family, now would be the time to do that.
Someone want to be the official picture taker? Well, you got to be in the picture too. Well, he's got to be in the picture too. Oh, see, there we go. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah?
You're holding on to the knees. Everyone up.
Big family, big family. Nice.
Yeah. Yes, Wayne.
You want a couple more with you guys?
So next on our agenda is the election of officers. First up is the nomination and election of mayor. Are there any nominations for mayor?
I would like to nominate Andy Ryder for mayor of Lacey.
Is there any other nominations for mayor? any other nominations for mayor? Are there any other nominations for mayor? The nominations for mayor is closed. All in favor of myself, Andy Ryder, for mayor of Lacey for the next term, signify by saying aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Then that motion unanimously carries. Thank you very much, and we'll go straight into the nomination and election of, thank you. Go into the nomination election of deputy mayor, and I move that we elect Malcolm Miller as our deputy mayor.
Second.
Is there any other nominations for deputy mayor? Are there any other nominations for deputy mayor? Any other nominations for deputy mayor? Then I'll close the nominations for deputy mayor. Malcolm Miller has been nominated. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Then that motion also unanimously carries. And then we're going to both come up and do our swearing in together.
Do this one together, and you'll just say deputy mayor and mayor.
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay. So I state your name.
I, Andy Ryder,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
the duties of the office of deputy mayor and mayor
the duties of the office of mayor
for the city of Lacey,
for the city of Lacey,
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
There we go.
Thank you.
Mayor. Deputy Mayor.
Actually, can I get a quick picture with my? Try to sneak it. My daughter's here too. Just wanted to, of course, thank the First Lady for all the support she gives me. Obviously, couldn't do this without the support of my family. And of course, my daughter, thank you for being here and supporting me for all these years. It's amazing how much of her life I've actually been the mayor of Lacey now, and I know that's always put kind of a unique pressure on her, but she's always succeeded in everything she's done. I'm so proud of you, and thank you for being here both tonight. With that, if able, can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I also want to acknowledge that we, the city of Lacey, are on the ancestral land of the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek, including the Nisqually Indian Tribe and the Squaxin Indian Tribe. Next up, can I get a motion to approve today's agenda and consent agenda?
Move to approve the agenda and consent agenda as published.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Then that motion unanimously carries. We've adopted our agenda
Mayor?
and consent agenda.
Sorry, could we get Councilmember Cox's vote on that? Sorry.
Oh, aye. That motion unanimously carries. We have approved our agenda and consent agenda. Next up on our approved agenda is proclamations. And we'll start with our Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And as our newest council member, we'll start with Nick.
Lacey Official Proclamation. Whereas the civil rights movement in the 1960s profoundly impacted the course of American history and continues to shape the direction and debate of our society, and
Whereas Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a civil rights leader, devoted his life to the nonviolent advancement of civil rights and public service, and his dream is no less inspirational and important today than when he first expressed it 60 years ago. And
Whereas Dr. King believed in a nation of freedom and justice for all and challenged all community members to help build a more perfect union and live up to the purpose and potential of the United States of America. And
Whereas, even with the progress achieved during the civil rights movement and subsequent decades, inequities, injustices, racism, and other forms of discrimination and oppression are still prevalent in our society today. And whereas Dr. King's life was struck down by a bullet of bigotry on April 4th, 1968, however, his dream of pursuing a world free from prejudice and injustice lives on. And
Whereas we honor and celebrate Dr. King's memory, and importantly, we preserve his legacy, one that calls upon all of us to stand up against injustice, protect our most sacred tenets of democracy, and continue to work towards a more equitable society. And
Now, therefore, I, Andy Ryder, Mayor of the City of Lacey, on behalf of the Lacey City Council, do hereby proclaim January 15th, 2024 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the City of Lacey, and urge all community members to take this opportunity to reflect upon Dr. King's vision and to join me in rededicating ourselves to continuing to advance the principles of justice and equity for all. Signed by myself, Andy Ryder, on this date, January 2nd, 2024, or 2024. And if Dr. Thelma Jackson come up and accept this.
Thank you,
Thank
Mayor.
you, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I accept this proclamation on behalf of citizens of the City of Lacey and the community in general. I would say that it very appropriately states the life and legacy about Dr. King. And on behalf of Reverend David Reeves of the New Life Baptist Church, we again will be hosting an all-community celebration of his life and legacy on the holiday, Monday, January 15th at New Life Baptist Church. And we look forward to Deputy Mayor Miller bringing remarks from the city, as well as other mayors of the other jurisdictions and chair of the county commission. We invite all of the council members, staff, and the entire community to this celebration, because we want to bring the attention back to the ideals and the values that Dr. King stood for. The day has become a day off and a day of service, with very little mention publicly about the things he stood for. We as a society are in great jeopardy of having our democracy taken from us. We again find ourselves fighting for the right to vote, fighting for acclamation of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, because these things have become so eroded. And these were the things that Dr. King lived and died for. And so as a community, we want to re-emphasize those things, open up those dialogues and those courageous conversations about the fact that there is still inequality, racial oppression, and all of the things that Dr. King became a hero for, and the Nobel Prize winner for the Peace Prize. So we thank you for this proclamation. We look forward to having as many of you as possible join us on that day. It's a repeat of last year, and we had a pretty full house, and we were expecting a lot more. But a holiday, a day of celebration, a day of recognition for the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, and we thank you for this proclamation.
Thank you. Next up, we have our next proclamation, a proclamation for a Korean American Day.
City of Lacey Official Proclamation. Whereas in 1882, the United States and Korea signed a treaty establishing a peaceful relationship, friendship, and commerce, which led 102 Korean immigrants to set sail for Honolulu, Hawaii in December 1902 on the SS Gaelic.
And whereas, for more than a century, Korean immigrants and their descendants have helped build America's prosperity, strengthen our communities, and defend our freedoms, through their service in World War I, World War II, the Korean conflict, the Vietnam War, and other wars, Korean Americans have served our nation with honor and courage, upholding the values that make our country strong. And
whereas Korean Americans are an integral part of our community, with contributions observed in all facets of American life, from politics to industry, entrepreneurship to volunteerism, the arts and education. And
whereas Korean Americans of all generations and recent immigrants have made significant contributions to the cultural and economic vitality of the United States and continue to make great contributions to our nation, our region, and our city. And
whereas the City of Lacey commits to recognizing the significant history and contributions of our Korean American community members, and the City of Lacey strives to reduce barriers that result in increased social inclusion, economic mobility, language, access, and meaningful civic engagement. And
now, therefore, I, Andy Ryder, Mayor of the City of Lacey, on behalf of the Lacey City Council, do hereby proclaim January 13th, 2024 as Korean American Day in the City of Lacey, and encourages businesses, organizations, public and private entities, and community members to recognize Korean American Day and take time to celebrate the contributions of Korean Americans and join the City of Lacey in creating a welcoming environment and a culture of belonging. Signed by myself, Mayor Andy Ryder, on today's date, January 2nd, 2024. And Cammie and Young will come up and accept this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It is our honor. Yes, thank you. Okay. So, yes. Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you very much. What a privilege, what an honor. Thank you so much for this special proclamation. On January 13th, 1903, 102 pioneer Korean immigrants arrived in the United States, initiating the first chapter of Korean immigrants to America. Since 1903, over 1 million Koreans have immigrated to the U.S. To celebrate the centennial year, the U.S. Congress formally recognized January 13th as Korean American Day with bipartisan support. Later, in 2007, Korean American Day was recognized by Governor Chris Gregoire in Washington State. So every year we celebrate the Korean American Day on January 13th. So on January 13th this year, we'll be celebrating our day. All of you are invited, and I hope to see you there. There will be K-pop and other K-culture and other celebrations. So thank you very much again for this honor.
Thank you.
I can bring my daughter? Okay. She loves K-pop.
This Korean American Day actually holds a special day in my family's history as well. My aunt Suk married my uncle Dale, and so I have my first cousins are half Korean, and so I grew up very much in the Korean culture right here in Lacey, Washington, and so I spent many of holidays where we'd go to the holiday and we'd have all Korean food for the holiday, and it's just the part of what made me who I am today is having a Korean aunt. And so this is had a big impact on my life to see a different culture from the time I was 6 years old. And so I'm very happy that we be able to celebrate this Korean Day, American Day in the city of Lacey.
Yes, and then as a Korean American, it is a privilege to and honor to live in a state where racial diversity is valued and respected. So thanks so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up on our agenda is public comment. We didn't have anyone pre-registered to speak, but if there's anyone wishing to address this council, now's the time. Seeing none, then we will go on to our next agenda items, which is our mayor's report. And I do have one recommendation to appoint Lori Davies to our Park Culture and Recreation Board. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second to appoint Lori Davies to this position. I just want to say I went through the process, and we had some great people, and I think Lori is going to just be just amazing, addition to our Parks Board. And thank you for your time. Obviously, Lori has, you might recognize her, she's spent a lot of time on the North Thurston Public School Board and since a lot of time there, and so she's, I think, uniquely qualified to hold this position, and to be able to come back now and again, volunteer your time for the betterment of our community. I just want to say thank you for stepping up, and we really appreciate that. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
Aye.
Then that motion unanimously carries. Lori, you want to come up and introduce yourself and say a few words real quick? I know I'm putting you on the spot. Since I see you here, though.
I just want to thank the mayor and the council and Jenny for this honor. I have a background in Parks and Recreation, and I spent 35 years at the Department of Ecology working on preservation of our open spaces and those kind of things. And I now have time that I want to give back to the community, a community that I've lived in for 33 years. So I really appreciate your willingness to include me on the board and your confidence in that I can serve the community as I'd like to. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. So next up under the mayor's report is the council assignments and intergovernmental board discussions. We've talked about this at our last council meeting, but I've also spoke to Councilmember Dunning as well. I think by now everyone has given me their preferences. What's going to happen next is I'm going to sit down with the deputy mayor and our city manager and just make sure everything fits correctly. We'll discuss it quickly our next work session, so that will be next Tuesday, and hopefully we'll be all in agreement right there, and then we'll go forward with our those assignments. And so I think I have those all in. That's the process. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Then with that, let's go on to our next agenda item, which is council intergovernmental boards and committees. I'm up first, but I do not have a report.
I'm up next, and I also do not have a report.
Councilmember Greenstein?
I also do not have a report.
Councilmember Cox?
This is getting to be a theme. I don't have a report.
Okay, Councilmember Vasquez?
Likewise, no report.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen since there hasn't been a lot that has happened since last time we met. Okay, then with that, we have reached the end of our agenda. It's pretty light meeting for you, Councilmember Dunning, but I just want to again thank this council for your support of me for another term as mayor, which is now starting as my sixth term as mayor. I really appreciate everything this council does on a regular basis to work together to make Lacey the wonderful community it is today. And we couldn't do it unless we were working together and on the same page. I think we have a unique relationship when it comes to government. The relationship that this council has with each other, the relationship that I have with the deputy mayor and the city manager really is what allows Lacey to thrive and be successful when you have sort of both branches of the government working together on a regular basis to make our community better. You just don't see that on most other levels of government, where, say, the president and Congress is working hand in hand together on a regular basis to do the best for the community. But that's what you see here in Lacey, and it's why I think Lacey's so special. And I just want to thank you all for your trust in me for another term as mayor. Deputy Mayor, do you have anything you'd like to?
I do. Just real quick, and I can't say it much better than that, but these people that you guys see up here, and also Councilmember Stedman, are very supportive, and not only supportive, will tell you what you need to hear, whether you like it or not. It is not always in favor, but at the same time, the goal is to work together to make a city that people want to live in. And I think that goal has been reached and achieved because this is a great place to live. And it's such a great place to live that, in my day job, I'm a loan officer, right? I do mortgage loans for people. For those people who didn't know, we all pretty much have day jobs. And so, there's times when I have to tell people, sorry, we don't have enough inventory for you to live here, and we all get to experience and work on those kinds of issues that we can't get done from this dais. And this group, this council, is a wonderful support to me, and the support they give, I can't say enough about it. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you all for the confidence and the vote and the love, really. So I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I really have leaned on the Deputy Mayor on this past term, and I sort of was thrown to the wolves. But you have got a little bit of a glimpse of what it's life can be like. It can be a full-time job. I mean, really, it's one of those jobs where you're never off, you're always on, and you can put as much time as you possibly have, and just never, it's up to you how much time you want to put into it. But I think as Lacey has continued to grow, the demands on making sure that we're out in the public, we're hearing from the public, we're interacting with our businesses, we're continuing to push forward the type of things that we want to push forward to make sure this is a great community. It takes involvement. And I know, Nick, you're going to be thrown into the fire now too, where now when you go out in public, people are going to recognize you as an elected official. And this one thing that we always have done is how we carry ourselves when we're out in public. And you'll get stopped, in the grocery line. You'll get, wherever you go, you'll start getting stopped, and people will want to interact with you, and because you are their elected official. And so those are important times. It's important times to get across our values and why we represent them, and also to take back feedback, get feedback from them so we can come here and discuss it here. That's why it's worked so well. It's when an issue comes up, we're able to go through the process, and sometimes it's tedious, and sometimes it takes longer than anyone wants it to take, but I think we've done a pretty good job of trying to streamline and address problems as soon as we possibly can, and it's a total team effort. It's just not one of us, it's all of us working together, along with our amazing staff. We have absolutely hardworking, amazing public servants, and we couldn't do anything without them. They're the ones that are doing the real work of making this community a great community. And we try to support them. This council tries to support them as much as possible. And we have a great city manager, too. I'm really, I guess we're going around. I've really enjoyed working with you this past year, Rick, and it's great to sit down and try to tackle problems with you. And I know you have that same thought process when you're interacting with all the whole council. And we have some big things ahead of us. This is a big year ahead of us. The next couple of years is a big couple of years. And we have a lot of things that are on our plate, and it really takes this entire community to come together to overcome those big issues. We all have to be rowing in the same direction, because you even get one person sort of going a different direction. It's really hard to overcome big issues unless you're on the same page. And that's one thing that we've had here in Lacey for a long time, is from council to leadership to our staff, all the way down to the person who's, pushing the lawnmower. We're all have one goal in making this community the best possible community we can. And that's why I think we exist, is we're a service provider to the, provide services to the people, to our residents and to our businesses, to make this the best possible city we can. So with that, we've reached the end of our agenda. And as always, you keep it classy, Lacey, and I'll call this meeting adjourned.
31 minutes.